tech subscriber questions here on video for cleveland.com. National Signing Day, 2 days away. C.J. Stroud, Jack Miller, seemingly the two quarterback options for Ohio State. This question from the 412 area code. With C.J. Stroud still an option for Ohio State, will the winner of the future Jack Miller, C.J. Stroud quarterback battle solidify Ryan Day as elite quarterback developer? Will that make him an elite quarterback developer? It's interesting. I think this quarterback class, whatever happens, is very important for Ryan Day because he inherited Dwayne Haskins and Justin Fields as a transfer. This is like his future guy. There's not a future guy right here. Kyle McCord in 2021 will be that. But what happens with Stroud and Miller is very important, I think, for Ryan Day's future. But like before we get to who wins the battle, like we don't even know what's going to happen.
Yeah, the idea is to keep Jack Miller happy and committed. And then at some point between now and next Wednesday, also get a commit from C.J. Stroud. I don't believe that's going to happen. That's a really hard thing to pull off, to get multiple quarterbacks in a class, especially one where no matter what, that quarterback's going to be sitting behind Justin Fields for a year, and then adding another guy to the competition in 2021 who was a true freshman. If you lose to him, you're probably transferring anyway. I think this is a hard thing to pull off. I don't know if it's going to work or not. It'll be interesting to see if it does work, but yeah, if this guy develops and becomes another Heisman candidate like we've seen with Justin Fields and Dwayne Haskins, then yeah, we can officially call Ryan Day the quarterback whisperer.
I did think it was interesting coming into this year whether we were going to see, was it more that like Ryan Day made Dwayne Haskins look really good, or was it Dwayne Haskins made Ryan Day look really good? Dwayne has had, I think, some understandable kind of rookie things happen in Washington. But I think Dwayne's getting it now. But I do think Ryan Day, clearly with the offense he helped design for Justin Fields and the success Justin Fields has had, I don't think there's any questions about Ryan Day's skills with quarterback. The one thing I'm curious about, Nathan, when it comes to recruiting quarterbacks, obviously that's important. But could this be like a thing where Ryan Day becomes the guy that every good transfer quarterback wants to come play for? With what Justin Fields is doing, do you think maybe solutions for Ohio State's quarterback future in future years will not only be in recruiting, but in the transfer portal?
Well, I think if Ohio State needs a starting quarterback every year, then in theory, yeah, the best quarterback out there is going to look there and say, oh, I can go there and win. Yes, in theory, that could happen. That's not a way to sustain your program, though. That's not a plan for the future that can really carry you where you want to go. At some point, and you don't have to develop them to the level you're talking about necessarily where you're being a Heisman Trophy finalist, but you've got to develop a starting quarterback at some point. You can't always rely that one's just going to fall out of the sky into your lap. You especially can't rely that it's going to be one as good as Justin Fields. I mean, yes, what Ryan Day did this year, I think, definitely helped Justin Fields be better. But the biggest thing Ohio State did for Justin Fields was give him a full opportunity to be all of Justin Fields. He didn't really get that at Georgia. He was sort of an accessory at Georgia. They made a package for him, but they only used really kind of half of who he was as a quarterback. Ohio State just kind of unleashed him, and that's the talent he already had has carried him a long way towards the season he's had. So Ohio State at some point has to do what we were just talking about. They have to take both of these guys or one of them, whichever one they get. If they get both of them, I think that's even better for them, obviously. But have the competition and develop those guys into being your true starter. Don't just always wait for that magic to kind of fall out of the sky.
To the point,
I'm gonna cough. I'm gonna cough.
Okay, well, oh god,
I was holding that in the whole time you were talking. Oh, it's so unprofessional.
To the point that you guys are making, you are absolutely right that quarterbacks are not going to just fall out of the sky and like save your program. Unless your name is Lincoln Riley, and then you can do it every year, and you're going to have a Heisman finalist.
Or if you're LSU and it's Joe Burrow, or if you're Michigan and it's Shea Patterson. Like, I agree with you. When we talked about this on Buckeye Talk. It's not something you want to rely on, but I wonder about it because Joe Burrow showed up and changed LSU. Now, they've had their problem at LSU was they hadn't developed quarterbacks for a decade. Lincoln Riley, Baker Mayfield was a transfer, Kyler Murray was a transfer, Jalen Hurts shows up, he's a transfer. I don't know what's next for them, but Jordan Love, for a moment, there was a rumor he might be a grad transfer from Utah State. He went pro instead, and when there was a rumor he might grad transfer, Oklahoma was on the list. Jim Harbaugh has had multiple guys. Jake Rudock got there as a transfer from Iowa and helped Michigan immediately. Shea Patterson, transfer, became the starting quarterback for 2 years. Like, you can't do it across the board. I am very curious that if it might be a strategy to be a quarterback destination point and it relaxes the all or nothingness of quarterback recruiting, because if Lincoln Riley can keep doing it and Jim Harbaugh can keep doing it, maybe Ryan Day can keep doing this too. Like, wouldn't you want to come play for Ryan Day?
I would, but again, let's talk about some of the guys you just talked about. Shea Patterson, never been in the national championship mix. That's a standard that you have at Ohio State. Trying to think of who else we just mentioned. Last year Joe Burrow gets to LSU, and he's not the Joe Burrow that's there this year. He has more of just a normal good year. He doesn't show up from day one and just throw the crap out of the ball. So again, I think it's too much to assume that you're always going to hit a home run with that. You have to be ready to go grab those guys when they're available and when you can get them, the way Ohio State did this year. But you also have to be developing real quarterbacks in behind them.
I think all it really does, the transfer portal, because it's affecting quarterbacks more than anything else, is you can always say, like, recruiting isn't done until the kid signed a piece of paper. You're always recruiting, even if the kid's committed to you. I think recruiting isn't done for quarterbacks until they've graduated, basically. Because even when you're on your roster, like 3 of the 4 Heisman finalists have worn an Ohio State jersey at some point in their career. The 3 of the 4 guys in the college football playoff right now are transfer quarterbacks. So with quarterbacks, you're always recruiting a quarterback until the day that they get their diploma or go for the NFL.
I think Ohio State will have a transfer quarterback as their starter again sometime in the next 5 years. Yeah. Nathan, Steven, Doug, read, watch, listen. Just go to cleveland.com and you'll figure it out.